edition of the Daily Market Commentary. I am your host, Chuck Fulkerson. Thanks for joining me as you do every day. For those of you new to the channel, click the little subscribe button down below so that you can get updates whenever they become available. We look at the same 10 to 12 futures markets every day, but the most important thing is we leave the lines on the charts. It holds us all accountable. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Not a whole lot to cover today. I'm going to hit on a few things. We had some pretty strong movements in the currency markets yesterday, which triggered a few stops. In ES, we didn't get the move out of this breakout area. We have fallen in the overnight hours. I thought yesterday we may get a little bit of a reversal off of this level right here. We did not get any reversal off that level right there. I was looking at that as a candle-to-candle opportunity. And then price shot up through there, did really a whole lot of nothing most of the day after that, before now falling in the last couple of hours, primarily on the news of the China tariffs that may happen. So, I'm not reading too much into it. I'm not really holding a lot of things over the weekend anyway. I've been kind of cautious to do that. I definitely, on the 4-hour chart though, we can see that our momentum has really stalled, right? It's really slowed down in the upward movement on the 4-hour time period. So it would make sense that we would get a bit of a pullback, today and into next week. But I don't really have a compelling reason to get short as of yet. There's not a huge shorting, opportunity in my mind yet. This little area right here would be something worth looking at and worth noting. But we've already come up to there once. And had a decent move away, and now we're gaining a little bit more support here in the morning hours. So what I'm going to do today is probably a lot of sitting on my hands on the ES, unless it comes back into one of my fairly strong levels. The Nasdaq is also down in pre-market trading, and I don't have a really great reversal in the Nasdaq until down in here, and so I will mark this one off for a potential reversal right there in the Nasdaq, maybe later today. But once again, those are some really strong falls for price to get into those regions. Crude oil. I yesterday said that we have this little crude oil kind of wedge forming that's fairly weak. I wasn't a huge fan of it, and now it's kind of petering out. There's not a whole lot going on with it as we're heading into the week in crude. We still have our areas that are fairly wide, and being patient on those. Not anywhere near those levels at the moment. If you want to still take a breakout, that's still available up in this range. You do have some room to roam. I just don't know if it's going to get there today. Gold, we hit our entry and hit the entry yesterday morning, and it didn't really do a whole lot. So I said maybe lock it in and move your stop down a little bit, and it's continued to move down from that point. Gold has dropped from 1312 down to 1302, so about 10-point move on gold. So if you were able to catch that one, hip hip hooray. In the bonds. So in the bonds, this is that breakdown that I said that we're just going to keep it in place. It was that one that was right around the announcement. The Aussie fell off hard. I feel like a fool for not having a good breakout strategy in place on the Aussie, but I didn't have one in place on the Aussie because we had one on the Canadian. So the Canadian breakout definitely did occur, and it's continuing its march lower. Unfortunately, the Euro trade triggered the lower low right here, which would have triggered the small stop loss. Now that's why we like the candle-to-candle style, because it does reduce my risk if I'm looking for those bigger moves. Now this was a news shock event based on the ECB's announcements, and so will that hold on? I don't know. We are coming off of that bigger time period area, so we'll see if it holds on to there, but we definitely got lower than the prior candle's low, which is where your stop out would be. Now the good news is that you've already ideally moved your stop up to lock in some profits, and this gain here probably more than made up for it in the euro trade. Looking at the pound and the yen, as well as copper. So our copper position finally has hit, and price has come into there. Based on how tight you place your stop, you may or may not have gotten stopped out. If you're using just like a few ticks, then you may have gotten stop out on this. If you didn't, we're not getting a strong reaction out of it. So, I'm going to remove this level altogether. We're not getting a strong reaction out of it, so not a whole lot to say about it. I'm not in love with it. And then our nat gas potential reversal trade, well, that one just blew right through. And so, the thing when I have days like this is Mama told me there'd be days like this. And you got a couple of nice winners with gold and Canadian, and a couple of smaller losers with nat gas and possibly copper and the euro. But the key is that those losers are managed, and managing the losers so that you don't blow up the account is really the important part there. So that occasionally when those longer running winners can keep going, you can continue to grow that account. So enjoy the rest of the day. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks so much for joining us today, and I will see y'all real soon. Have a great day, everybody. Later.